Hey, thought I would do a bit of a series, hopefully kind of a start to finish, obviously not, scoped very big, but of a first person shooter. Try to bang off a few of the requests kind of all in one, hopefully. So, I made a scene and there's nothing in, oh, okay, this one doesn't count. Okay, now there's nothing in here. And I should make a folder for this. Let's create a folder. And I am going to go to a new scene. And let's save this as some sort of title scene. Okay, now if I go to the last scene, these are all my demos. We have this scene. Now obviously they look identical. There's nothing in them. They're both empty. So I want to, for now, where is my folder I just made? Right there. So I want to take those two scenes and put them, so the series and the title, into that folder. I could even make a subfolder for this so we don't get confused. And then we can go up to our build settings if we wanted to. Drop those down and put in our title, put in our level, 0 and 1. Okay, so we're in the title scene. So what do we need for a title? We need probably a panel. Canvas needs to be scale with screen space, and we could probably give this some sort of image of something. I don't know what, but we will think of something. I don't know what I'll have in this demo. My demo project anyways. Got a few things in here, but nothing too crazy. How about the Invector guy? Put the Invector guy in there. Be all, what the hell? Should probably go 2D, increases alpha. And because of his background, we're going to need another panel. And take this guy up. Maybe make that some other color, put it behind. So this guy, we will, because I believe he's supposed to be more of a, like that. Now we'll stick him around here. And, well, let's just put that as background stuff. And let's give this a text up here. That. We'll stick this somewhere in the middle. With normal text, I like to scale it down. And make it bigger. You could also use Text Mesh Pro. It really isn't that much different at all. Alright, Alright, so this can be title. And then let's make 2 buttons. Got a button 1. And let's just duplicate that. And let's call this guy the new. And load and options. Okay, so this guy can say new, and this guy can say load, and this guy can say options. Alright, there we go. And for all 3 of those, do we have any kind of a box-like style thing to make that look a little prettier? Just kind of a blank box. Yeah, I guess even something like that. That might work. Might have to scale those out a little differently. And let's take these and change those colors a little bit. Alright, let's separate those a little more. You can always put these in a vertical group if you really want them to be just precise. Alright, like if I go make an object, go buttons, add vertical layout group, and then take all 3 of these buttons and just stuff them in there. And then take this guy and just drag them over. Now they'll follow in a certain suit, right? So let's give that a little more spacing maybe. Sure, like that. Alright, so now we have this kind of a mock title system. We could also actually add a audio source. Do I have any music? There we go, that'll work. Let's put that on loop. Take the volume, drop it down, and let's give this guy an FSM. Let's say FSM. And this could be our title manager. So he needs a button array. And we have new, load, options. Come to think of it, I also want these things press color. Let's go with a darker green. So new, we're gonna go new event, load, we're gonna do something else, and options. Don't know why I spelled it like that, but hey. Alright, so now load, we'd have to develop a save system, so I'm just going to leave that blank for now. Let's do another panel. Maybe we'll make this one black. Bring its alpha way up. Give that options. Okay. And let's say, I don't know what we should do for an option. Let's give it a slider. Give the slider also a text. Let's do audio, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so anyways, we get into this guy, and what are we going to do with him is we want to is active. So this guy is going to check if this guy is active. It is active and is not active. Okay, so if it is active, then just go back. If it's not active, then, well, activate it. There we go. And this guy also needs a back button. And I'm going to use that same button in that same array. So now we have 4. Hit tab. So button. Options back. And options back. We must just go there. No. Options back is we want to, let's copy this one where we activate it. Only this one will deactivate it. Alright. And if it's a new game, then we wish to say load scene. You can do the async or whatever at index 1. Alright, let's save that. So we should now have, we should just put a quick game in there somewhere. So we have this site, go options, and bring this up. This doesn't do anything yet. Go back, we go new, we go into this new scene. So far, so good. So, there needs to be a definite difference between those, but we will get to that. Yes, we will. So let's go into our series scene and let's create a, I don't know, plane maybe. Come out of 2D. And this can be ground. So let's give it some sort of ground-like texture. Do we have any ground-like textures? What do I have here? It's an ugly texture, but might be the only one. Actually, you know what? We do have some Cinti stuff in here. Let's just use that. Cinti. There we go. What do we have for environments? It's all space stuff. Don't I want space stuff though for this? So we'll use this one. Buildings, characters, environment. Alright, what do we have? Well, let's see what we have here. Just kind of need anything for now, I suppose. We just kind of needed generic stuff, I think. Generic things, yeah, something like that. I'll take this one, expand it out pretty big. For now, it's going to be more of a base. So, something like that. Alright. Take this one and go a little smaller. And let's do another one. This can put a few of those out. Something like that, I suppose. Not going to be too pretty yet. Oh, there's a flat ground. We should have used that for the base. That would have made a little more sense, I think, but whatever. Not that worried about it. Let's scale him down. Alright, so then, we have some mountains. We can stick those out here. There we go, got a bit of a mountain range happening, I suppose. Kind of tuck those in. Alright. It's almost hoping more of a sci-fi style ground, but I don't have my sci-fi space in here, or else I would have gone with that. But, you know, whatever. Whatever works. For now, just to have us, just to give us something to play with. Alright, so let's... so when the game starts, obviously we want some kind of manager, right? Especially if we're going to be save and loading the game. Right, we need a spot of something like this, and we're going to tag this, we'll say player start, and that's going to be player start. And this is what, train stuff. And that obviously doesn't need to be sitting way down frickin' there. And let's just make sure he is roughly there. Alright, stick him there. Call this guy our son. Go to our lighting, stuff him in. Bring him down here, I suppose. And so far so good. Those are level objects. And save and open. We'll go back to right now. So, okay, well, before we do that, let's generate some sort of what the player even is, so we know what we're doing here. So to do that, did I bring? I don't think I did. So let's just go. As I have this thing, and this will make it pretty good. I think it was in this guy. If I remember right. I'll just import this thing. I believe this thing has first-person arms to it, so we can use those. So then we can, now I'm not some animator, but we'll just make the animations and stuff. So if you don't have the animations, at least you'll know how we'll deal with that. And if you do have the animations, you can always just use those, either or. Overall, it's pretty easy. Like I said, I mean, I'm really not an animator, but it's fun to animate. I suck at it, but it's fun. All right, so we have, go away alarms. So we have this thing now, and we need our player. And I should now have, in prototype, I should have hands. Right, so I can say, here's arms, right? We can drag arms in. Now, these are humanoid, which means we can't animate them in Unity. So we're going to change that so that we can. So these arms here, whoops, let's undo that. These guys here, I'm going to drag those to our first person folder game. So these are rigged as humanoid. I'm going to change that to generic. Just like that. Now it is generic. Now we can animate them. So if I create a animator, right, and if I come along here, and we should probably create a capsule and put the arms in there. We don't want the arms to be the actual player, and I'll get to that later. Technically, because we need multiple arms, more or less. Right, so I'm actually going to duplicate those and turn a pair off for now. And these arms, we want, let's take this camera, bring this down, put it inside our capsule, and move it up into a decent spot. Bring this down. Something like that. I like deferred personally. So here's our camera. And I'm going to create an object and call this camera system. And I'm going to do that so I can, there's various effects that I want to do to the camera. What else? Actually, I'm going to put another one in there. Doop. And I'm going to use this one to animate. Alright, so now we have these arms. I can move these down. So to animate these, all we need to do is open up an animation window like that. And we need an idle. Hit record, drag him down here. I'm gonna need to see that actually. Oh, dear Lord, I got so many windows going now. So we don't need root motion. Let's open this up. Shrink all this stuff down so we can see what the hell we're actually doing. And I'm gonna grab the shoulders and use the rotate. There we go. Let's bring that down. Muscle, just bring it right down. Let's hide this. Of course, it didn't like me doing that. So, okay, back into this. Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to take, so we got this left shoulder and he comes down. And we'll take the right shoulder and he'll come down. Alright. This stuff here we don't care about. But we want to see the hands here. So let's just bring these up a bit. Alright, so we might have to move that camera back, but that's not a big deal. We need to do the same thing with this side. Let's level this one up a bit. There we go. Let's just bring it over here and add a keyframe for now. Okay, so now we're got the record off. So the camera system, let's move that back a little bit. Let's still, let's go. Okay, let's take this camera and go up, just back a little more. All right, now let's see. Oh, now we don't see it at all. Went way too high. Somewhere in there. It's not too bad now. Okay, that'll kind of work. Arms are a little close together, but hey, we're not professionals here. So back to the animation. So what is idle? Obviously it's not going to be 2 frames long, that would be insane. So that's an idle. And it doesn't look like much. So I'm just going to throw in a bit of variation to it now. So I'm going to go over to this guy, and we're going to just move him slightly. And go over to this shoulder, and maybe move him just ever so slightly. Right? Probably do a little bit of variation with the hand. And just small. You really don't want to go big. Right? You're just doing itty bitty things. It kind of brings things to life. All right, and then you come over here and maybe you'll do something over here. I don't know, something like that. And all of a sudden, if I hit play, he's got this little bit of a jiggle. So, and it's pretty fast. We don't want it that fast. I'm just going to expand this out. Go like, I don't know, something like that. And it's not the smoothest thing. We only got a couple keyframes in there, but it will work. So there's an idle, right? That's an idle. That's on this guy. He now has an idle. Amazing. So the other thing we want now is a system for walking. Now, if you put this in your arms, then you have to animate all your arms. And that sucks. So, let's call this, I don't know if I can change that name now, actually, now that I've hit it with animations. Well, the next ones will change. So the camera system, we also want to animate. All right, if I create another animator, and let's do this camera system. Camera system needs a animator, and it needs a, we'll say, an idle. I guess camera idle. And it really doesn't actually have to do anything. I'm gonna just key in these things, but I'm gonna zero them back off. Like that. Now I'll go over here and key them in. So that's our idle. And then I'm gonna create a camera walk. And camera walk, however, is now we can take this guy, right? And we can just zero him off here. So he's there. And maybe we'll go over to the, I don't know, 1 minute, key it off again. Or not 1 minute, I guess it's 2 seconds. So here, maybe we'll key it off there. Now, maybe at the halfway mark between that, so every half a second, maybe we take this guy and we go down a bit. Maybe over here we go down a bit. And what else? Let's go. We really don't want to do rotations when you're dealing with the camera. It tends to cause people to be sick. Keep that in mind. Let's go here, kind of just before this mid portion. I'm going to raise it just a bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, if we play it, we have this kind of a bit of a walk thing, and we can literally duplicate that and use it as a run as well. We could also do a camera run where we do more or less the same thing, but maybe a little wilder. Right, so if we do that same thing, we go over here and we key it in, come down here, we key it in here, and maybe here we, we come down a little farther. And then to really hit it with an impact here, you come down, come over here, and just go. Steps. What is that? Point. Here, let's just copy that. How about I'll make it easier. Right, and then over here, let's copy this one. And what we're going to do is on this kind of little double step, is this one here. We're actually going to just jar it up a bit. Jar it up a bit. And it should be really subtle. But it kind of pauses that down when I hit on the step. I think over in this one here, we should take this one up farther. And then maybe over here, just before this, what if we went sideways a little bit? And over here we go sideways this way a little bit. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Don't know if I like that. Alright, let's just get rid of that for now and call that good. Alright, so there we have our camera being animated. Right, so let's give this an FSM, and this could be camera move. So here it has set animator float. I guess it needs all that stuff. Idle, walk, and run. Let's give it a float called speed. Just kind of link everything up. Like that so you can see it a little better. Okay, so if speed, take that off, is greater than 0.25, go this way. And then if speed is greater than 0.5, go that way. Here, if speed is less than 0.25, go back. If speed is less than 0.5, go back this way. And here, if speed is less than 0.25, go back to the idle. There, it just has kind of a bit of a loop. Alright, so now if we add a camera look, and we're going to do Mouse look 2. 2 is better than 1. And we don't want to use us, but we want to use the camera system. Sensitivity way down. We should now have, this guy should be able to look. We should hide the mouse and stuff and lock the mouse. Not worried about that right now. So we need to lock that up. Sensitivity is not bad. The Y is wrong. So let's just turn that to -3. Okay. So now we have that. Let's create an empty. Call this arms. Stick him in there. Alright, now if we add movement, let's do a, get rid of that. Let's just add a character controller. Make sure that's looking good. So get axis vector. And that's all fine. Relative to the camera system. So that's our vector. And we can get magnitude. And then simple move. Move this down here. Ourselves on the vector by some speed. And set FSM float. Move that down here. And the camera move. What, did we not make a float? Oh, we never gave it its stuff, right? We gotta finish that off. Suppose I could just use the animator on that one. Alright, so there we go. We'll let him handle himself, I suppose. So camera move, speed, and magnitude, and every frame. Alright, let's save and go like this. Now we should have see a little bit of a flash there on the guy? We're gonna fix that. Oh my god, that walk up and down is a little excessive. Very excessive. We need to fix that. So anyway, so that flashing you would see is based on this guy. Update when off screen. Turn that on. Okay, so let's go back to these arms. So I obviously went way ballistic with the no, on the arms. Where's the arms there? That's the arms. Oh, that's camera. Oh, wasn't even on the arms, it was on the camera. Ah. Alright, so camera idle, camera walk. So let's just alter that. So that's on the animate guy. So he goes down there. Let's cut that in like a third. Cut him into a third. He's a 0. That might might be better. This guy, where we went excessive, we obviously went way too excessive. I'm going to get rid of those ones. Let's just make sure it's working the way we kind of want it to work. Alright, so we go from 0 to 0.2 up. We'll go 0.1 up and then down 0.2. Let's see if that's a little better. Better, but it's still pretty excessive. So let's just touch that up. So walk, record, go over here, and let's bring him down. Let's get rid of this one and this one. He goes normal. He comes down. Okay, let's go over to the run. Put it on record. Let's cut that in half. Okay. That's a little better. So, I know there was a question out there as well for sound effects on walking. So the easiest way to do that, actually, is if, say, you go to the walk. Let's set an event called step. So we come down, we step, come up, we do step. Now I'll set an event here, also called step. And then we can go over to the run, and we can add a set event called step again. Now we do need to do a slight adjustment to this run in comparison to the walk, because right now they're pretty close to the same in a lot of ways, and we don't want that. Where the hell's my set event? There it is. Alright, so for example, now we could just alter the speed in the animator, but I'm going to just actually shrink it down. Let's say to there. Now with that said, I got to move these to match back up with those. Alright, but now this guy is going to come up with that same event called step, which is that. So we're going to give him an audio source, and here we're going to do a play audio, and it's going to be, do we have a step sound? Good enough for now. We'll turn that into an array and do some work with that later on, but for now that's probably you'll get the idea. All right, now would technically be our running animation, but now you notice how the arms themselves don't have a running animation, right? And like I said, you can bring those in, but then you're animating for every arm, and that might be a pain in the ass. There's other ways to go about that, like even moving the camera back and forth. I'm going to bring this sound down so it's not so dominant. Alright, so we have this little bit of a player now. And what else do we have? We need to name him player. And I'm going to give him a player tag and put him on a player level, or player layer. Just that object. So we're going to need to give them guns, more animations and stuff like that. We also need to build them a HUD. We'll make a health bar and stuff. So let's get rid of that. We really don't need the renderer. we need the collisions, we don't need the renderer. So what else do we need to do? How much time do we have? We're just about up. So we're going to want to prefab this guy too in the near future, because we need to create them based on a save load system we need to make first. So what should we do? We need a level manager. I don't want to get into that if we only got like 10 minutes left though. So let's come over here and do we have an idle. Let's create a grab animation. Right, so what does a grab animation look like? Well, we would come down over here and we need this guy. We need all of those. I forget if this thing allows me to do this or not. I don't think it does. Delete keys, clamp, auto, free smooth. I should be able to copy. We want to more or less copy these guys for a starting position. There's a much easier way to do this. So, but for now, I think this is kind of what I'm stuck with. Clavicle. We want to make sure more or less that we don't have some weird shock in our... Why is that not working now? Alright, well... Okay, well anyways. Let's do this first. I'll figure that out after. Say we take this to be 2 seconds. Right there. We would want this arm, for example. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be this arm by any means, but let's, I don't know, go out a bit. he's got a... maybe something like that. Actually, let's put this at the 1 second mark. And then, right, so it comes out. Obviously, we're gonna have to fix this beginning, but put a pose there like we're grabbing. And let's go over here and key that in, and then come back over here. And then this will be our default, which will be, well, different. So anyways, one of the things I wanted to key this in is, what if we from here go hand, you know, maybe it does that, maybe the fingers close a little bit, you know, something like that, like he's actually kind of grabbing something, or maybe he's hitting a button, who knows. It doesn't need to be actually that precise. Things happen so quick, and there's a lot of things that are covered, and really you don't want to animate things that aren't seen. It's kind of a waste. Let's just move him forward. Normally you don't use those. Right, so he comes in and kind of grabs. Do another little keyframe right there. And then, so okay, so he comes in. Well, his arm's going to start differently, but he's going to come in, grabs, he goes like that. And then here we will probably twist the arm. Oh, Jesus, not having the right arm. Let's go twist this arm. Kind of like that. Probably do a few more on those. Get the thumb kind of going a bit, I guess. It's a little wobbly, but whatever. All right, so then, all right, let's get him back over here. Hopefully your animations are better than mine. Probably will be, Sid. I enjoy animating, I'm just not good at it. But to each their own, I suppose. Alright, so he can go start over there. Alright, and that's kind of where he's going to start over here too, right? He needs to kind of mimic that starting position from the other, from the idle, more or less. I mean, we should be able to blend them together, I suppose, but right, because now it's, I don't know why he's, I don't know why he raises it up so high, but I mean, we could probably, hey, I don't know, maybe that looks good. I don't know. But let's bring that down. And then probably somewhere around here, we're probably going to want him to almost kind of snap in a little farther. bringing it, and then it goes back out. Kind of like that. Right, kind of a bit of a grab here. So that's one thing. So I guess the other thing, we should probably line up this arm. Right, because he needs to be doing whatever the hell this arm is doing during this whole situation. Right, which is, I mean, he was sitting there, say in the beginning, and then, you know, at the end, he still wants to be there. Well, not there, but there. Right, but we don't want him to move too much. Actually, that worked out pretty good, where he kind of backs up a bit. Now we have this kind of a grab animation. So if we now go over to our arms, we have idle and we have grab. And we can just make a parameter, and we'll say this is called it grab. And we can now go ba-doop and ba-doop. So yeah, exit time none. Let's make sure that those are blended well though. I didn't really smooth those out very well, so let's make sure they're blended good. So now we have, all right, so just to test that real quick, let's add a FSM, and we will get mouse button down, left, test, set animator trigger, and I forget what hell I named it. Call it grab. Like that. Alright, so we have our arms looking around, and if I click, I did not put it as a condition, so you know, there we go. So now we have this kind of a grab happening. Ba-doop, ba-doop, just like that. See how simple that is? I mean, I'm not even an animator. I suck at animating. So you guys out there are watching this, and if you guys are actually animators, you know, maybe you're using PlayMaker because you know you can't really code very well or something, and you know your strong points are your animations and your art or your music or something, then you know yours is going to look 100 times better than mine will. You know, or maybe you're just learning, and well, we all start somewhere. So that's that little portion there. We'll have to build in a few more things and add another set of arms, right? Because like if this is our unarmed, we make a few animations for that, but then we want to use a different set of arms for, say, if we have a pistol, and a different set for another weapon, a different set for another weapon, and swap arms out. So let's, I think, end it there, and we'll have to, well, there's a ton to do, right? We got to build this little bit of a save system and stuff like that. We got to build our HUD and a bit of an inventory system and so forth, and I guess we'll see you in the next video.